What's up, y'all? Yeah, I'm like the reason why I got this picture I'm showing on here right now is because it has to do with well, obviously it has something to do with the video I'm finna do. Um, like I just want to speak to y'all for a moment on a number of things, especially concerning these quote unquote internet bullies and things like this. And it's funny because you have these types of people that come on the internet just for the sake of complaining, or just to say something to somebody because it makes them feel powerful in some sort of way. Now, I was on the dueling network website. I was having a duel, and I had um, made this new deck. And on the website, you can create new decks and you can like test them out and things like that. So for this particular deck, I was like trying out some spirit monsters. I just wanted to give them a test run. And on my room title, I had put testing, and I didn't want like a certain, I don't know, type of card like to go against. Like I put no six samurais, no synchro monsters, no dark worlds, no black wings, Exodia, ice barriers, or anything else because it's a test run. I'm not trying to go up against anything too serious. So like that's what I had on my room title. And soon as the duel started, as you can see the dude's name, well, of course, like you can see what he says right there. Like the first thing he says, as soon as he enters the room, what kind of duelist are you? Crazy face, no synchro, no OTK, blah 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 blah. You suck. Now, mind you, I had it on my room title that I was testing a new deck build. I wasn't going up against anything too serious. Wasn't trying to. And this is the first thing he says to me. Now, of course, when the average person sees something like this, like, they don't necessarily know how to respond because, it's a lot of people that don't know how to, like defend themselves on the internet or in life at all. But me, I'm that type of person where if you're going to say something to me, please come prepared, or at least understand that you're going up against somebody that has knowledge of what he is doing, to the point where if you do come at me in such a manner like this guy, I'm going to make you feel stupid, as you will see, in the other photos that I took of this whole conversation. Now, as you can see right here, like the first thing he says is, what kind of duelist are you? Crazy face, no synchro, no OTK, blah, 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 blah. Like, which is what I had on my room title, like I told you. And then I put, LOL, you came in here, in this room to tell me this. You're pathetic. And he said, yes, why? Guess why? And I was like, if you was going to come in here to tell me this, then why even come in, right? I mean, what type of person comes into a room seeing that I put testing on there? Well, obviously he didn't, because if he did, he probably wouldn't have said what he said. But even then, he probably would have still did it. Because let's face it, he's a troll. All right, all right. Back to the conversation. To see what kind of noob deck you're using. Now, this term noob has been thrown around for years and years and years. It's been thrown around so much to the point where it's like the people on the internet just use it to imply that they're superior over somebody else, when in reality they aren't. And it's been thrown around so loosely to the point it's like anybody that even uses the word, I don't even think they care that they aren't using it properly, or at least to an extent to where it would make some sense. Because he says to see what kind of noob deck you're using, which basically means like what type of rookie deck are you using? What type of rookie deck build? Mind you, I said it was a testing run. I was doing a test run. As you can see right here, I put all my room titles, no synchros, no OTK. He read it. He knew what the hell I was talking about. But even after you read that, you did not see the part where I put test. And this is where the next conversation comes in right here. Like, to see what type of new deck you're using. You just had to come in. You just had to come in and grace me with your oh so gracious words of wisdom that much. A deck that can't handle the decks you mentioned. Like, see what type of new decks you're using. A deck that can't handle the decks you mentioned. And I said, you had to come in and grace me with your oh so gracious words of wisdom that much. I put on my room, test. No OTK, FTK, synchros, SAMs, ice barriers, black wings, dark worlds, or plants. Because you know those type of plant people, they just use the same thing over and over again. It's like, whatever, but yeah. And then I put right here, what's the first words you didn't care to look at? Go ahead and take your pick. This is what he said next. Take your pick. And then he gave that crazy look again. Exactly. And then he did it again. This is a test deck. I'm not trying to go against anything serious. Even though nothing. Just play. Testing something on noob decks is fail. Wait. Okay, now this is where I get him. This is where I prove his stupidity. Because he just told me that testing on a noob deck is a fail. So basically what he just said is anything that I didn't have on that room title or would not use up against me at this particular time is considered a noob deck. Because that's what he just said. He said, I said this is a text deck. I'm not trying to go against anything serious. Anything that I consider serious was the OTK, FTK, the like all the black wings and the dark worlds and all that. I wasn't trying to go up against all that. And that's why I said I wasn't trying to go up against anything too serious yet. Because it was a test run. And he said, even though nothing. Yeah. Testing something on a noob deck is fail. So here it goes. So if you test something on a noob deck, then the user of that deck is a noob, right? And then he tries to say no. So I like this is when I get it. This is when I get them. So based on your logic just now, anything that wasn't listed on my room is a noob deck. And he tried to say like, no, you're the noob because you want to fight newbies. I didn't say nothing about fighting newbies. I don't understand how what I had on my room considers that the person that I'll be going up against is new to the game. I mean, obviously, if you're playing with 6 samurais and you put that you're doing like a test run, let's be honest, you can't do a test run with those 6 samurais because the deck plays itself. It plays itself, and you can't test run that. But yeah, I've seen people say, they're doing a test run. I go in there with my test build, and they end up using 6 samurais, and they just doing all these crazy summons and la 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 la. But yeah. Moving on. He says, like, you want to fight newbies. And I was like, wow, you talk about yourself bad. And then he goes, LOL, I lost 1,000 life points. I used my monster's effects. I use one of my monster's effects, where like when it's summoned, it destroys all of my opponent's set spells and traps. And he had Swords of Revealing Light activated. Now, the way he was coming in and he was talking to me, you would think that he would have some knowledge about the game, right? He sent all of his spells and traps to the graveyard. And I wish I would have had to do a recorded, that way you would be able to see this for yourself. But he had 3 spells and traps on this side of the field. He had activated Swords of Revealing Light, and he had 2 set spells and traps. When when I brought my monster out, he had sent all of them to the graveyard. And then I told him, not Swords of Revealing Light. It wasn't set. It stays on the field. The set cards are destroyed. Swords isn't. He still brought back Swords of Revealing Light, put it out on the field, and he left the 2 set cards in the graveyard. And then I had to keep telling him, you know. And it just got worse from there. And then I had paid some life points for this right here. With some card effect. I can't remember exactly what the card was, but I paid some life points here, and then I paid some more here, and then I paid some more here. And as you can see, like, I just kept paying life points, for that monster to get resummoned, because these are spirit monsters, and they continuously, get brought back, to the hand at the end of every turn. So, I kept paying life points, with this particular card that I had, and I kept normal summoning this monster to the field, and I kept hitting his life points, and as you can see, like, he lost 700 here, and he lost 900 here, and then it just got to the point where he just left the duel. Now, when that happened, I guess he figured that, one, he knew eventually he was just going to end up losing, and 2, he was getting whipped by a test build. Now, these 2 things can be possibly not the reason why he left. There's other scenarios, like his computer could have been messing up, or like some other things. But nevertheless, here's my life points right here. As you can see, my life points is at 4,000 from all that life point payment, and his was at 6,400. So his life points were way higher than mine. So he basically, had he waited it out, he might have had a chance to win. But I guess like, he couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, he was talking about somebody bad, and he was, and I guess he could have seen himself, losing the duel, or for whatever reason. Maybe his computer went out or whatever. But yeah, he left it. And this is what it was in his graveyard. As you can see, like, as I was saying, like, I was using spirit monsters, and he was just, and from what he had, he was just using like a bunch of bounce back monsters. As you can see, like, he had Nightmare Penguin, Hane, the Wall of Illusions, Shunade, and that's the Sword of Revealing Light I was telling you about. And he had 2 Ultimate Offerings. And yeah, like, these are the monsters he was using. You see, he got Soldier Penguin, just a bunch of monsters that, like send cards back to my hand. And since spirit monsters already, naturally, do that already, basically all his monsters was doing was just helping my monsters, like head back to my hand a lot earlier, like than they normally would. So like he wasn't really doing anything that was hurting me in the duel, so to speak. But yeah, and like this was all that was on the field when he left. You see his graveyard right there, the Hade Hane and everything. He had one face down left. You can see I got Legundari, removed from play zone, and I was using Mystic Box, and I got my 3 face downs right there. I don't know what they were, but yeah, back to that. But yeah, it's just that you got to be careful, like when you're on these online games, and such like that. Just a word of advice: just make sure that if you do ever run into somebody like this, just know how to like shut them up. Basically, just know how to make them look stupid, because the reality of it is they just want to come to you for whatever random reason and just try to make themselves feel somewhat superior for whatever reason that may be. But yeah, this is Zariel. This is the idiot that I was going up against. He tried to talk trash and he ended up running from the duel, or for whatever reasons he ended up leaving. So yeah, just be careful, because these people are everywhere. Kill the trolls. Don't feed them. Peace. 2 fingers. 2 fingers. 2 fingers. 2 fingers. Alright, yeah, you see them.